Well, hello everyone. You have right here, I'll talk about for photographs right here. And a lot of times it sure seems that way that each time we do think about that, and you're wondering that, yeah, whenever it comes to photographs. And you might even think too that, each time you do take a photograph, what exactly is it that you're trying to capture in that photograph? And a lot of times it's like, remember those old style cameras? That a lot of times it sure seems that way, that it was all about trying to get used to how the film went into the camera, and of course about how to get a good zoom, a good focal point, and all that. But still, that I can tell you one thing, everybody, that when we do talk about photographs, by the way, a lot of times it sure seems that way that you notice that there's a lot of portions of the photograph that come out either out of focus, or there's just too much distraction and everything going on, and that's why it seems like that whenever you look at a photograph that you're thinking, okay, yeah, well, I don't want to use that photograph, or I don't want to use this photograph, or that image right there, for anything in particular. But still, so it sure seems that way that each time you do think about that, we're going to be using photographs for almost everything we do nowadays, to the point to where you're always like, well, make sure you got a working camera handy so that way you can take a picture or something. And to me, though, that like everybody might say that what's going to be the most common future, other than making sure that you got a pen and paper handy or something like that, just to write something down. What are the chances if you go to a job interview that they're going to say that please have a camera handy so you can take a picture, rather than making sure that you got a pen and paper handy or something like that, something to write with. And so it sure seems that way that whenever you do think about interviews and anything such as the service that you're using, that you're thinking that, yeah, you're used to bringing a pen and paper with you in case if you want to write something down. But really, though, that when we do think about cameras, and maybe when we do think about anything such as using Photoshop for any reason, or maybe if it is a PowerPoint or maybe Excel files, or any software program like that, and so you're thinking that okay, yeah, that you go ahead and you're trying to capture these still moments, right? But it seems like almost every time you think about that, and you're wondering to where that really, what exactly is a still moment right here? And they have right here the picture of the two kids right here sitting right next to Santa Claus right here. But it's like, yeah, if it's going to be maybe a background, that, like, let's just say if you're going to be maybe visiting around town, you have like maybe a Christmas tree in the background or something like that. But still, each time you think about that, and you're warned to where that you would like to use a photograph that's really clear and focused, to where it's not very blurry, and maybe there's not a really lot of distortions and distractions and all that going on. And that's why it seems like everybody say that, about about almost everything you do nowadays, that that you would look at these still photographs. And like everybody say that when we talk about photography right here, even if it is going to a meeting, or maybe if it is you go into any sort of reunion, that you might think that okay, yeah, we ask you to go ahead and bring a pen and paper with you, but other than that, please bring your camera with you. And so it sure seems that way that each time you think about this, and you go ahead and paint a picture right here of the illustration, but this right here was an actual photograph, and I'll even tell everybody that this right here was an actual photograph, that do you think that maybe you would? I'm like, yeah, like everybody might say that there's so many pictures that really come out, yeah, some of them pretty crystal clear, and other ones that you think that are really are out of focus, or that you can't really tell what's going on in the pictures necessarily. So it's like, yeah, that so whenever you do think about that, what exactly is it that you're marketing? And a lot of times it seems like that you're always asking that question toward what exactly is it that you're putting up for market right here. And so it sure seems that way that whenever you do put together a masterpiece right here of a source of artwork, and let's just say that if it is if it is a photograph, one of your favorite moments in time, and let's just say that you go ahead and take a picture of something, but what exactly is it that anybody that we're looking for right here when we do speak about a source of artwork or illustration, painting, or a photograph? And you might think that that what you're actually looking at right here is a moment in time where you got two kids right here sitting right next to Santa Claus right here, sitting on Santa's lap, right? And you're thinking that really what if you were to be advertising something like this on social media or anything else that you're going to be doing it, that you're warned toward it. What exactly is it that you're selling necessarily? And like everybody might say that, yeah, you go and include a photograph right here, but then you're also maybe going to say something like, hey, that for like $10 per picture or something like that, or like something like what exactly is it that you're looking for? Well, you're trying to figure out here what's going on, in this picture right here. So you have right here, like, yeah, if you could maybe put a background picture right there, but talking about right here for presents. And so it's like when we do think about these photographs a lot of times, that the kids are going to say that they would like to have a Sony PlayStation 4 or something like that. But when we do speak about photographs, that you're thinking that, yeah, you would like to use a clear, focused photograph to where that there's like, yeah, to where it's not hard to see and it's hard to read, and maybe where, like, yeah, where you can modify or verify what's going on in those pictures. And that's why it seems like that whenever you do take a photograph, by the way, especially at nighttime, and I'll even tell everybody that if you're going to be taking any night photographs, for sure that you noticed that with those a few of those photographs, that sometimes that they come out real dark and all that, but still, that whenever you do think about a photograph, though, you're warned to where that, yeah, a number of times that you've had your experience with it, talking with loved ones and everything, and you're warned to where that how often are they really going to ask is to please have your camera ready so that way you can take a picture of what's going on here. And yeah, if maybe like let's just say that if you're getting ready to pick somebody up, maybe after they get off work or something like that, and something such as if you're making a delivery or something like that. But still, so each time you think about that, and you're warned to where that, yeah, that when we talk about photography marketing here, we're also talking about is to where that yeah, you are pretty much putting this stuff up like, yeah, to where you're pretty much you're advertising it, right? You're advertising it to where that everybody else is able to see what's going on here, and knowing that yeah, the things that's being displayed and the things that are being advertised right here. And a lot of times it sure seems that way, that yeah, you may think about the silly moments and everything, but I don't really know if I was able to explain very well that, like everybody might say that whenever it comes to your tongue sticking out right there, but like everybody might say that you really, what exactly does that mean? Whenever yeah, whenever a child does that, by the way, and like I was saying before, is there about the fact about getting a little bit more attention or something like that, or like everybody might say that you go ahead and pose in front of the camera just like that, with your tongue sticking out right there, and so you're like, yeah, that are you thinking what I'm thinking? A lot of times it sure seems that way, that I'll tell everybody that yeah, if it's really about the fact about being silly, in front of the camera or something like that. But a number of times, based on my experience, I can tell everybody too that a number of times I've had my picture taken, if it's in front of Santa Claus or anything else that I'm going to be doing it for sure. That it's like, yeah, you're talking about moments in time to where that they are just taken all of a sudden. But let's just say that if this picture right here was taken whenever you just woke up. Yeah, if you just woke up from a nap or something like that, and you're not completely, you're not even fully awake during the time that this picture was taken right here. So like everybody might say that, if you had this picture taken right here, and you're warned to where that, really, how many people really want to have their picture taken whenever they're not even fully awake? If they just woke up from a nap or something like that. And if if you've been sick for quite a while or something like that, and you're thinking that you have your picture taken right there, and everybody say, yeah, well, what about sister right there? And so it's like, yeah, so you have sister right here, and if you're going to be, taking a picture right there, and you're warned to where that yeah, you look at that picture right there and want to know too that you take about maybe a minute or two just to be able to have the picture taken and everything, but you're warned to where that really, what exactly is it that you really are selling whenever it comes to taking the pictures, and what exactly is it that you're looking for? And everybody might say that, yeah, you really have to be there, I guess, in order to be able to understand the story, right? But it's like, but I guess my concern would also be about is that, if the pictures didn't turn out very well, or maybe that most of the time that if you have your picture taken right next, sitting right next to Santa Claus right here, and you're warned where that, yeah, that, you may notice that just a little bit, that, yeah, once or twice. Not over the fact about if the pictures came out real focused, but then also that there would be a QR code that you would scan right there. So it sure seems that way, that each time you think about that, and you're warned to where if we're talking about lines of people coming through, and that's usually what I see right there, is that, you go ahead and have your picture taken, but I would actually see something like this being worth, just to let everybody know that they come in between these times right here, and yeah, they have your picture taken. You're gonna have your picture taken, but then you're gonna have something sent to your phone, or maybe something mailed to you, something that includes something about this is how you get a copy of that picture or something like that. So it's like, so every time you think about that, then you're warned to where that yeah, the pictures come out real crispy clear right there, but then on the other hand, that yeah, that all the things that you got going on during the time, right? And you're warned to where that hey, that you notice that this picture kind of came out out of focus, and maybe if you noticed that like, yeah, if you're pretty happy with that picture right there, and so it sure seems that way that when we do think about that, and you're warned to where that really that somebody would like to advertise these photographs, and let's just say picture sitting right next to Santa Claus right here, but like everybody might say that you would like to see some illustration work right here of like if this right here was supposed to be an example of an actual photograph right here. But you're always want to know too that yeah, each time you take a photograph, maybe you don't really think too much about, okay, yeah, about how clear it is or something like that, or maybe how focused it is or something like that. But still, that maybe every year around Christmas time, that whenever you do think about that, and you're wondering to where that yeah, that what exactly is it that you're selling, and like people who want to have their pictures developed and all that, but still, it's like you think about the picture in front of Santa Claus right there, and you're warned to where the pictures are really coming out really out of focus. The ones that came out really out of focus, and maybe the ones. So like everybody might say that's whenever the professional cameras would be provided, and that's why it seems like that everybody might say that you go ahead and draw out the details about what exactly what you would think about to what to be expected and all that, and but still, everybody might say that yeah, a number of times that you tried that, and you're always warned too that you know every time you take a photograph, by the way, that are you necessarily advertising it on any source of a social media platform or even in the catalogs necessary just yet? And like everybody might say that you look at a photograph, you look at those moments in time, right? To where that you're trying to get everybody in the picture, and you're trying to get that picture and capture those favorite moments, right? Those special, kind moments right there. Even if it's a vacation, your graduation and vacation, right? And so that's why it seems like that, you know, almost every time I think about that, I'm always thinking that, most of the time, it's not really about making sure that you have a pen and paper handy, or maybe if it's a gift card handy or something like that. And like anybody say that, yeah, most of the time, that if you do a well enough job, that, yeah, gift cards will be provided. But it's like, yeah, so each time you think about that in your world, or that yeah, that cameras, most of the time it's usually the cameras. The cameras are usually it's asked for whenever. I'm like, yeah. Besides, yeah, maybe if it's not cameras, it's maybe gonna be candy. Yeah, that kids are gonna like the candy. After they have their picture taken, they want a candy cane or something like that, or maybe some chocolates or something like that. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, picture in my pajamas or something like that. I don't really know how many kids would say that that yeah, that picture in your pajamas. And I really don't know how many kids would want that like, yeah, like most of the time, if it's going to be having your picture taken with Santa Claus in your pajamas or something like that, and like everybody might say that really that not too many kids like that, by the way. And I'm like, and I don't blame anyone. I'm like, anybody might say that, yeah, you want to go ahead and have your picture taken sitting right next to Santa Claus right there, and you're wearing too that you were in your pajamas whenever you had this picture taken right here. And so that's why it seems like it that every time you think about that in your world, to where you don't want everybody seeing you in your pajamas. And let's just say that if it's supposed to be a special delivery, and everybody might say, yeah, especially around Christmas time, if you have whenever you receive a Christmas present, that somebody might say to you, yeah, whenever you're in your pajamas, by the way, you might think that you don't want everybody seeing you just like that right there. You have your picture taken for sure. You want to have, you want everybody to see you in that special your Christmas outfit that you've been working hard on. That you've been working so hard on. And that's why it seems like everybody would say that yeah, you want your picture taken, but you don't want to everybody seeing you in your pajamas. You don't want everybody seeing you in something that you don't really feel comfortable with wearing. And maybe in that apron. Everybody would maybe say that if you've been working in the kitchen, even if you've been working in the kitchen, you don't want everybody seeing you just like that right there. And so that's why it seems like that you come up to these moments in time to where you're like, yeah, you take a photograph of your children sitting right next to Santa Claus right there, or maybe sitting in front of the Christmas tree right there. And the first thing you're going to be thinking about is that, really, how are these photographs being used in anything artistic that's being used for any marketing purposes? And that's why it seems like that, every time you think about that, and you're warned to where that, hey, that, whenever you think about artwork, by the way, that you're actually thinking about, moments in time to where the, yeah, take a guess on for how exactly that moment is going to be provided and all that, especially whenever Santa comes and all. But still, every time you think about photographs, though, that you may think about maybe multiple photographs just because that one of them came out really out of focus. It came out really out of focus, and then you weren't very happy with that picture, or it really it came out real blurry in some portions of the photograph, and that's why it seems like that you go ahead and work with the paint program to where, yeah, use this kind of like as a guide right here to where that if yeah, before these photographs are taken, everybody is able to see the photo just like this right here, to where that before the photograph is taken, that this right here is to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like, before the photo was taken, and so that's why it seems like everybody would say that you got sister right here, and 102. Her first impression would more likely be is that yeah, if my hair was braided like that, and 102 that yeah, if you have your hair braided like that, and but still, it's like how cute does that look, right there, and so it's like, yeah, if it's going to be Christmas cookies or maybe a Santa hat or something like that, that you're warned to where that you have your picture taken a lot of times, and you're always thinking that you sit on Santa's lap a lot of times, and people might say that yeah, you would receive a candy cane along with a box of chocolates and all that, and so that's why it seems like that yeah, you sit on Santa's lap, but then the first thing that you think about is the moments to remember right here, and the moments to remember, and you're always thinking that that you're trying to remember the things that you were trying to talk to Santa Claus about, and everybody might say that as soon as you're able to sit on Santa's lap, that like a lot of kids that want to sit on Santa's lap, right? And you're always thinking that you were trying to remember what you were wanting to talk to Santa Claus about, and if you only have maybe a minute, or something like that, maybe only a minute to talk to Santa Claus. And I can remember that the first thing I said to Santa Claus a couple of times is that what you've been doing, young. So yeah, so it's like everybody might say that you go ahead and take the time to write on the photo, like you're talking about, for what you remember. What you remember, what you talked to Santa Claus, what you said to the elves and all that, and everybody would say that yeah, that from the moments in time for what you can remember, and still, it's like from what all that was going on during the time, right? And you're always thinking that yeah, that your picture in your mind about the things that you would like to say and all that. You're sitting on Santa's lap, but really, what's the first impression that you think about whenever you do sit on Santa's lap? And you're thinking is that yeah, you sit on Santa's lap just to talk to Santa Claus, and I can just remember that that the first thing that you think about whenever you sit on Santa's lap is that yeah, you've been waiting a long time in line to be able to sit on Santa's lap, right? And yeah, so it's like do you remember at all at any point in time to where that you were able to tell Santa, the things, for what you've been wanting to tell him and all that, and maybe if it was about something that you really, yeah, did you, if you asked for anything in particular, anything special for Christmas, right? That do you remember at all about that you give me a reason why you want that or something like that, and you remember? I'm like, yeah. What would you like to have for Christmas? And so you put that right there. But then maybe if yeah, everybody might say that do you remember including that you know do you remember at all including that in whenever you did talk to Santa Claus right there, and you're 102 that that yeah that do you remember at all talking to Santa Claus, and do you remember that the reason for why you wanted that? Like, and yeah, you told him what you wanted for Christmas. A puzzle, and I guess I can just put on here puzzle just for an example. Like, yeah, a puzzle, not a puppy, but a puzzle. If you remember right, maybe once or twice that I asked Santa Claus for a puzzle for a game. Yeah, most of the time it was games, but you would ask Santa Claus for a puzzle, and toy train, puzzle, you name it. You could probably say that you asked Santa Claus for a lot of things. Even Christmas lights. And you're one of two that yeah, that puzzle. You put on their puzzle, and I've been a really good boy, or something like that. I mean, yeah, you puzzle. You say something like, yeah, you want a puzzle is because I like building things. So, did you have time to tell Santa that whenever you did go see him? You like building things. And everybody might say that, did you really have that kind of time to tell Santa, that whenever you did go see him? And that's why it seems like that everybody might say that, yeah, whenever you sit on Santa's lap, that most of the time it was, that was the case right there, to where that, oh yeah, unless if it's written down or something like that, you would not be able to remember what you were wanting to talk about, right? And maybe that's another reason why, like everybody might say that, maybe sending a text message or something like that, but like everybody might say that you look at these photographs a lot of times, that, yeah, whenever you write something down, whenever you write it down, and then you're able to remember, yeah, you're able to remember, those moments. And so everybody might say that, every time you do think about graphic design, by the way, that you're going to be thinking about, those moments whenever you were a kid, that, yeah, remote control cars or anything like that, maybe glow in the dark pencils or anything like that, that you wanted. And you'd always think that, that look on Christmas morning, and you were thinking about is that, yeah, especially be getting in all those crowds, around a lot of people and all that. And so that's why it seems like that, whenever you do sit on Santa's lap a lot of times, that you're always thinking as to where that, yeah, everybody might even say that, what's really the first impression that you think about whenever you do sit on Santa's lap? Whenever you sit on Santa's lap and you're able to talk to him, and you're able to ask him, say what you want for Christmas, but what's the first impression that you think about whenever you do sit on Santa's lap? And 102 is that, that the first impression that you think about is that, is this really real? Is this real? Am I really doing this? And whenever you sit on Santa's lap, it's like, yeah, you're like thinking this toward, hey, how you doing, Santa? Hi, Santa. And so yeah, that's the first thing that you think about is like, hi, Santa. And I'll tell everybody, to be quite honest with you, that that would probably be, before remember that. But the first thing that I can remember saying was, yeah, hi, Merry Christmas, Santa. Hi, such as hi, yeah. So that's the first thing that you can remember, right? That's the first thing that you can remember saying whenever you first saw Santa Claus, right there. The first thing that you thought about. And so, like everybody might say, that if you were to actually think about that in typical, language, though, and like, well, like, yeah, I don't know about there, but yeah, put like maybe quotation marks or something like that, maybe between Merry right there, between Merry Christmas right there. And so really, if we were to actually be thinking about that for sure, that you're warned to where that that hey, that do you really think about that as to where if there's supposed to be a noun or a verb in between right there or something like that? But yeah, I like building things, and I've been a really good boy. I've been a really good boy. Yeah, yeah, me too. So really, that whenever you do start any source, like everybody might say that whenever you do go see Santa Claus, by the way, it's like yeah, I'm sure we've all been there in that situation to where that those conversations, by the way, are going to start is to where that yeah, and just maybe in just one or two sentences that you say, hello, hi, Merry Christmas, and you sit on Santa's lap and everything. But to me, though, like everybody might say that there's time to exchange gifts. Like, let's just say if the elves hand you a candy cane, and maybe if the elves do give you Christmas cookies or something like that. But it sure seems that way that if you were to put text in writing right here in a source of sentence right here, such as "Hi, Merry Christmas. Remember, yeah, I'd like to have a puzzle. And I like building things." So it sure seems that way that yeah, you try to make it shorter and all that, but it's like every time you think about that, and you're always want to know too that if you were to actually provide information on that picture taken sitting right next to Santa Claus, and do you think, like everybody might say, that you really had to be there just to really understand the story about that, but the situation, right? So it's like every time you think about it, you always want to know too that yeah, that you think that you were able to talk about everything and do everything, but still, every time you think about that, and you're thinking that yeah, you have enough time to say hi, Merry Christmas, but do you remember at all maybe a couple of things that you wanted to have for Christmas? And everybody might say that you remember telling him one or two things that you wanted for Christmas, but it was like yeah, that you said that you wanted a puzzle or something like that, and but did you really have time to tell him that yeah, I wanted a video game, or yeah, I want some clothes or some socks or something like that, and so each time you think about that, and you're always going to know too that based on your experience, right, that you're thinking that if you want to tell your audience though that what's the purpose about whenever we look at these photographs right here, you learn based on experience, right? And so every time you think about that, and you always want to know too that moments in time, moments in time on experience, based on experience. And so that's why it seems like that that yeah, that when we talk about experience, but yeah, everybody say that yeah, just trying to put moments and experience right there. But anyway, but still, it's like so yeah, every time you do think about that, and you're always want to know too that you look at these photographs, by the way, that you see things that maybe you just don't think about right away. Like you don't think about them until at the very last minute, and that's why it seems like that. Whenever you do look at that, and you're always want to know too that yeah, you just kind of think you just yeah, think real closely at them and all that, but still that so every photograph you do take, and you're thinking that really that what exactly is it that you're necessarily selling whenever it comes to marketing? And everybody say, well, number one, so that way everybody can see it, right? Number one, it's like whenever you do take a photograph, by the way, that you're pretty much showing everybody that yeah, as long as you're able to see all this detail right here, because before you were not able to see it from before, and you were not able to see and realize from before, and that's why it seems like that we all think about that, and you're thinking as to where that yeah, whenever you take a photograph, by the way, that you may not even look really closely just to see about how focused it is and maybe how clear and crisp it is and all that, just to see about it, to be able to tell if it was taken outside or maybe anything else that was going on during the time. And so that is why it seems like that when we do speak about photography, by the way, that it's like everybody's going to say that, if you could go ahead and have your camera ready so that way you can go ahead and take the photograph right there. And want to know too that really, photographs, most photographs, by the way, it seems like that, like everybody else would say that most of them, and every time you think about that, you're 102 that your photographs are not just about capturing memories, but then also that they are also provided to where that they can kind of give everybody a good idea and a good experience to what's it like to actually, kind of put together the pieces of the puzzle right here to where what was going on during the time. And that's why it seems like that, every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that what exactly is it that you're looking for whenever you look very closely at these photographs right here, at this right here? And so somebody might say that, yeah, what exactly is it that you're looking for whenever you do zoom really closely at it? And so you say that, yeah, well, picture sitting right next to Santa Claus right there. But still, it's like every time you do think about that, and you're always 102 that yeah, I don't really want my picture taken, especially if I'm in my pajamas. And so really, what do you think most kids might even say too? That if you're going to be in your pajamas, or maybe if you're going to be if you just got, like, yeah, if you've been sick for quite a while or something like that, and you're thinking that, you know, yeah, that if you've been sick for quite a while, you don't want your picture taken right away. And that's why it seems like everybody's going to say that, you don't want your picture taken right away. So that's why it seems like, you just want to go ahead and wait until the right moments or so. You'll just be able to exchange gifts and all. But still, the types of marketing right here, and like everybody say, where people can actually see it, and whenever you're able to provide, yeah, you actually sell products with that photograph on the front right there. Like, so, like, let's just say that maybe if it's for commercial advertising or something like that, maybe to get extra copies made or something. And so every time you think about that, and you're thinking that yeah, that why do you, and so sure, I'm like, yeah, like if you want to go ahead and ask that question right down here, that why do you think anybody would want to buy this right here? Why do you think anybody would want to buy this right here? And and I guess the answer you pretty much give is to where why do you think why do you think anybody would buy this right here? And the answer that you pretty much give is to where that because well, for any reason at all, that if anybody were to be buying anything or ordering anything, that's the first thing that you're going to hear is that because. So like everybody might say that you don't, like, yeah, go ahead and put that right down here or so, but bottom. But really, why do you think anybody would want to order this? Why do you think anybody would want to buy that? And yeah, even if it is not pronounced correctly or so, why do you think anybody would want to buy this? And the answer you pretty much give, in case if anybody's wondering too, the answer you pretty much give is because it works, right? How often is it really going to be to teach somebody a lesson? Everybody might even say too that, yeah, I bought this just because, so I can teach my daughter a lesson or something like that. How often is that really the case? How often is really the case is that, to where that really, why do you think anybody would want to buy this right here? And so you're thinking that, okay, yeah, you asked that question right there, and people might say this to where, yeah, because they asked me to, or something like that, or is it because, but still, because it works. Why do you think anybody would want to buy this? And your answer is pretty much is that because, yeah, because it works, or because, uh, because I asked you to, or something like that. Because I asked you to, or because that yeah, that I might, yeah, like everybody might say that why do you think anybody would want to buy this in particular? And it's like, well, really, how often do you think people would say that I want my own? And you could say something like that. I think, to be quite honest with you, everybody, I think everybody would probably say that. Why do you think anybody would want to buy this? Is because I want my own. Yeah, a lot of parents might even say too that based on your experience for sure. Why do you think anybody would want to order their own print extra copies of this greeting card or so? I want my own. That's why. I want to put this on a separate order because I want my own and then one to share and one, so that way in case if anybody else, it misplaces one or something like that. So really, I actually see a lot of everybody else saying that, by the way. Why do you think anybody would want to buy this? Because I want my own, so it's like, so it sure seems that way that, every time you think about that, by the way, that how often do you think that that's really going to be the case as to where that, you ask somebody the question about something about, didn't you just order this or why are you coming back for seconds or something like that? So it's like, yeah, because I want my own. So yeah, I'm like, I can tell everybody that based on my experience, whenever you do shop for something and whenever you do order something, you maybe come back for seconds, or maybe if you are maybe and for any reason at all, right? For any reason at all that you want to add something else to the cart, or maybe if you do want to go ahead and do a little bit extra work of any of kind, that somebody's going to ask you, why do you think that you would want to buy this? Come back for the second time to come back and buy this or something like that. I want my own. And so everybody say, yeah, you want your own what? I'm like, you want your own what? And so like, really, I mean, I can actually see, a few of the little kids doing that, by the way, everybody, if we can all see this right here. I want my own. Yeah, you want a kiss on the cheek or something like that, or you want your own. Yeah, I want my own. And yeah, really, what sticker or syllable really, can we really kids explaining about the I want my own. I want my own to share, with my friends or something like that. Or I want to put this on two separate orders or something like that. But so every time you think about that photography marketing for photographs, photographs for sale or something like that, and it's almost like what you're pretty much saying is that a lot of these family memories that you can remember, you being made available for the family album and all that, to share with your friends and family and all that. But now we're talking about, for you can actually do business with this. And so you're thinking is toward it that the first thing that you're going to maybe say for sure is that besides it's Christmas, is toward it, I want my own. And so every time you think about that and you're 102 is that, did you really tell Santa Claus that you want your own? You want your own what? You want your own. Like there's just not enough information to be provided right there, unless if you were there, and that's why it seems like everybody might say that every time you do think about that, and you're going to maybe include something that show where you can actually read something, and Christmas card or anything like that, and 102 that somebody's going to ask you to take a photo of something, take a picture of something for what reason? And though is that there's something about that photograph that that you see stuff that maybe that you don't see every day. You don't see them every day, and that's another reason why a lot of parents might say that whenever you take those photographs, by the way, that you don't just push the button just to be able to take a picture of just to be able to develop that photograph. So what you're basically are doing is that for everybody else to see, right? And whenever you do that, that maybe everybody else is able to see a lot of stuff that maybe you're able to see for the first time, or maybe that you didn't realize what was going on there at the very beginning. And that is why it seems like that when we do talk about marketing right here, is that when we do talk about marketing, is that basically means is to where that somebody is actually offering you a service to where to please provide extra copies of this, or please would you please make that available for our websites, for the share by email, and by text message, and so that's why it seems like that whenever you do think about that, and you're 102 that when we do think about the Christmas holidays, and even by New Year's, that you're always 102 that you take a photograph of something, but then you're always thinking that maybe some of the time you're thinking, right? Maybe not always thinking, always all the time, but sometimes whenever you think about that, most of the time that have a picture taken a lot of times, and it's like you're thinking is that hey, that you take a picture, and you see things that maybe not everybody's really going to understand what all the details about that, right? So that's why it seems like that way, to where that you look at these moments in time, and you're thinking that what exactly is it that you're finding about these photographs that makes it real interesting, and like everybody would say that most of the time, if you go visit everybody and go see people and all that, and anything that you're going to be doing for your job, most of the time, what's how many times are you going to be asked to have your tickets ready? So that way that the person, the usher or somebody, the person at the ticket stand will be able to stamp the ticket, compared to having your camera ready. And like everybody would say that most of the time it's make sure that you have your camera ready. You see this right here, you for professional, for this photography right here, photography marketing right here. And but anyway, but I thought I'd go ahead and add that in right here. Top up for hi, Merry Christmas right here. And remember, I would like to have a puzzle, and that I've been a really good boy, and I like building things, and so whenever you sit on Santa's lap, it's like you're able to talk to Santa Claus, and he's like, you've been a good boy, or like, what you've been up to, and it's like, yeah. Back whenever you were younger, it's possible that, that whenever you did sit on Santa's lap a lot of times, it sure seems that way that, you had these moments to where that you were trying to remember what you wanted to talk to Santa Claus about. And so whenever you did talk to Santa Claus, by the way, it seems like that, there were some moments that you could not remember right away. And that's why it seems like that that's one of the reasons why people say that you go ahead and take the picture. You take a picture of that moment in time, and that's whenever you're able to remember, right? And so that's why it seems like that, to where that you look at these pictures, and especially a background with the Christmas tree in the background. But still, how many of us would say that? Yeah, I'd like to have a PlayStation 4, Mike, or anything else, like maybe a Barbie doll or something like that. But it sure seems that way, that every time you think about that in year 102, that yeah, that you want to make sure that you got your camera ready, whenever you get ready to take a picture of it. And just thinking necessarily that yeah, that you look at those pictures, and what exactly is it that you're looking for in a picture, and you're 102, that well, really, you're looking for those good moments in time to be able to take the picture, right? And especially whenever the camera is not really focused too clearly, and maybe if there's like, yeah, you're trying to take the pictures, but a lot of people are moving around, people are coming into the doors, people coming in and out, and that's one of the reasons why that a lot of those moments in time, a lot of those still images are hard to capture, and that's why it seems like that, to where that whenever you try to put it all together, and you're thinking that you go ahead and include maybe a few drawings and a few paintings and all that, but still, I really think in a lot of ways that really, what can you really tell the difference between a picture, an actual photograph, and compared to an actual painting? And you're like, yeah, you're able to tell what people actually look like in the photograph, but still, that there were times to where that the photograph came out really out of focus, and maybe if it was too dark, and that is why it seems like that. You look at that photograph, and you're always want to know too that yeah, you take a photograph, but how many people are going to want to? I would like to see it, and so that maybe that's another reason why maybe marketing really comes in handy, just because of the fact that how many people, yeah, I want to see it, and so that's why it's like, yeah, I want to see it. How many people are going to want to see it? Whenever it is developed, and whenever it's made available to where people can see it, and that is why it seems like, yeah, especially if it's learning something new. That is why it seems like they'll say that, whenever you do take a photograph, by the way, that it's very important to make sure that you keep all those saved, and then for anybody who requests, to have a copy of those, and if it's on a greeting card, right? And maybe that's another reasons why that's another reason why, like everybody would say that, yeah, you go ahead and develop a source of like, yeah, before the event, and even after the event and all that. But still, that every time you think about that, and you're thinking that yeah, you're not able to talk to Santa about everything, and that is why it seems like that yeah, you look at that photograph, and you're 102, that you were not able to tell Santa everything that you would want to talk to him about, and so that's another reason why that he's like, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. Will you have a Merry Christmas? And so yeah, so whenever you do sit on Santa's lap, for sure, that yeah, they give you a candy cane. Most of the time, it's a candy, and maybe maybe some chocolates or something like that, and you have your picture taken. But it's like you can remember that you only asked him for one present. You only asked him for one present, even though if you wrote down maybe a number of presents that you wanted on your Christmas list, and so that is why it seems like that everybody might say that whenever you do think about a photograph, though, and you're 102, that yeah, do you really have to be asleep or so, or you're like, yeah, your moments in time, right? And so everybody, I'm like, yeah, especially having a package delivered, especially, and that is why it seems like that every time you look at these photographs, and you're thinking as to where really, what is really what exactly is it that you're selling whenever it comes to photographs? And it's like, what's the best answer for that? And to me, though, I look at that more is that, experience, but then also that if somebody doesn't have that, I'm like, yeah, somebody's want to know too that, could you provide those resources to us? And so to me, though, yeah, I can also put on here service and resources, and could you provide those resources to us? And so every time you think about a photograph, though, that you're always want to know too that the resources, and the resources, and so yeah, yeah, just making sure everything. I'm like, yeah. I mean, anyway, but resources. Yep. Yep, everybody. I'm not trying to, but still, whenever it comes to photographs, right? So whenever, if we're talking about an actual website, by the way, then for sure that everybody would probably say that, yeah, that those resources, by the way, you go ahead and maybe stamp that right there on the left or maybe on the right or something like that. But still, you had these moments recorded right here that based on experience, right? But each time you think about that, and you're want to know too that whenever you first started working on this, by the way, that when you were actually were putting together something, for maybe for your own personal use or for anything, maybe if it was a family collection of some kind of photographs, but then somebody else would say as to where yeah, can we actually use this right here for our marketing to where it clients and maybe other business coordinators that they would like to use this just to be able to display on their websites, just to show what is it that we do, and how it interacts with our marketing materials, and that is why it seems like that yeah, whenever you first started working on it, for sure that you first started working on it, that it was not used for that purpose, so you might even tell everybody the story that whenever you first started using this, by the way, you weren't even using it for any marketing purposes. What you were using it was just to check it out or just to get some practice with it. But like everything else, people might say that the first thing that you're going to be thinking about is like, come on, it's Christmas. Why can't you share that same material? Or hey, it's Christmas. Why can't you provide that information to us? And even if through your insurance or anything else that you're going to be doing, whenever it comes to marketing, what exactly is it that you're selling? And people might say that, what is it that you're selling? Well, you're selling. What exactly is it that you're selling? And it's like you tell somebody that what you're actually are selling is you're selling if you can look at it, you're selling experience or you're selling moments, but really, what exactly is it that you're selling right here? And people can even say too that you really want to know what you're selling. Well, you are selling photographs, but those photographs contain information that we need to look at just to be able to review, right? And so in case of any parents that might even want to know too that do you think, would you much maybe I would, I think I actually like I do enjoy selling jewelry, but for any reason at all that a lot of companies out there would say that you are selling photographs because these photographs prove what we do for business, right? We don't really like, we are selling those products, but these photographs are used just to be able to tell and determine what how we do service, and then for the examples for what we have so far as our experience. And And so that's why it seems like that, every time you do think about that, by the way, that the first thing that you do think about is that it does not even require you to have a pencil and paper handy or even a pen. It requires you to have a camera handy to where you can actually take a picture of something and maybe to talk about it. And you show everybody a few of the marketing tips, and it's like, yeah. So it's like every time you think about that, by the way, and you're always thinking too that every picture you take, if it's that one picture right there, if it's just that one picture right there, and let's just say if it's visible to everybody, and let's just say that if a number of people like it for sure, and for sure everybody might even say that, yeah, for sure, if you have a number of people that are gonna like, they're gonna really, they're gonna like what they see right there. And they're going to say that hey, that yeah, that they like it, that they like what they see right there. If they like what they see for sure, yeah, I like it. And, for sure, I think I tell you one thing, everybody, that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of it. Whenever you do, while you're working on something for sure, by the time somebody gets it, yeah, by the time somebody else gets what you're doing, by the time they get it, and by the time, yeah, by the time, I guess maybe no argument about that, right? But by the time, yeah, the likes, I can put likes on there too. Every time you think about that, by the way, it's like, yeah, almost every time you think about that, and you're thinking that, it's all about the fact about how many people there are really are going to like what you do. And they're like, yeah, oh yeah, I like it. You like it? Well, it was not in the instructions. It was not. Yeah, it was not in the original instructions. So if you can still use it or not. So every time I think about this, I also kept thinking too that even though if you did not read the instructions in their entirety, whenever it comes to somebody gives you instructions on how to handle those photographs and maybe how to do something, but anything that's really recommended and anything that you really highly suggest, right? But it's like, yeah, so it's like if a number of people were to vote to where that they like something that you were working on for sure, what are the chances that they're going to make that a rule? And besides thinking about the requirements all the time, and like everybody might say, one was also thinking about how many people that really like that. And but anyway, but whenever it comes to marketing, right? And so every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that yeah, any requests or anything, but you might thinking too that yeah, marketing, what exactly is it that you're selling necessarily? And people might say that yeah, you're just trying to get more information about this, or yeah, you're just trying to share it, you're trying to make it visible to everybody else so that way they can see what's going on here. And that is why it seems like people might say that, yeah, I get it now, yeah, I get it. I get it, just because, you really had to be there. Yeah, I get it. But, yeah, I get it. Hey, I get it. Yeah, I get it. But in case if anybody's wanting to know too, that you look at a photograph, by the way, and you're wanting to where that, you know, yeah, if there is a time where you do not get something, whenever you don't understand something, and do you expect anybody to look at a photograph and expect them to understand, expect them to get everything that they see right here? And most of the time, it's like, no, you can explain again, but like everybody might say that what you're basically are doing right here is that you're just like, yeah, is it really recommended to go ahead and and place several text right here on the image, just like this right here, just to expect everybody really to understand that. But like if you were to actually build a website and just explain a little bit more about, what exactly is it that you were doing, and so that's why it seems like, yeah, I get it, and so that's why it seems like that each time you do think about that, it's like how many people really like that. I really like that. For how it was all put together like that. And, but anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a Merry Christmas.